Everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to address the overall market. As y'all may know, there is an FOMC meeting happening tomorrow. Therefore, I'm going to be sharing with y'all what to expect and how crazy the volatility may be. I'm also going to be doing an update on some of the stocks that I've mentioned in the past and answer some of you guys' questions for those of y'all who dropped the stocks in the interesting comment section of the last video. Y'all, before we begin, again, do not forget to annihilate the like button on your way in, and also don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Right, so let's get right into it right off the bat. So with the SPY, I told y'all in the last video, I gave y'all reasons why I could not be bullish, even though the SPY is showing an inverse head and shoulders on the chart. The weekly chart looks very, very, very suspect. All right, I told y'all that the right shoulder could be widening, right, and that's what's happening right now. There isn't any ferocious bounce. There isn't any break of new levels like at 3960 or at 3980 or at 4000. It's just chopping and chilling over here on the right shoulder. Eventually that level of support which I have drawn on the chart will collapse. Like this is going to break, and we're going to not only get to 3800 but potentially even lower. Now, the indice that I really want to share with y'all to explain is it's gonna make it a lot simpler to see. It's /NQ. The Nasdaq. Again, this is the other indice. They kind of all move together, but they're not exactly the same. They're not at exactly the same points. So we're going to look at the 1 hour. Now, if we zoom in right here, what I see and what I think will happen, all right, as the FOMC meeting approaches, is that I think that the indices, especially the Nasdaq, is going to cook in here. It's going to chop. It's going to do a whole lot of this, a whole lot of that. All right, and then the FOMC meeting is going to happen, and then it's going to pick its direction, and I think that it's going to collapse right over here. All right. Again, I could be wrong. The structure is there, but it could go either way. Like it could surprise all the bears and just squeeze all the way up to 1220. Like it could. But for this video, and for these videos, I have to pick a side. I can't be like, oh, it's either gonna do this or that. Like, it's not helpful at all. I think I'm leaning bearish. All right, I'm on the bearish side. I think we go lower. I think we break below 11,800, and I think we get all the way down to these levels at 11,600 after the FOMC meeting. Either on Wednesday afternoon is when we break, or Thursday is when we start to make new lows. All right, so that's my very honest thoughts on the overall market in general. Now, let's do an update on some of the stocks that I've mentioned. The two stocks that I've mentioned in the last video. Let's see how they're doing. The first one that I told y'all to keep on your watch list for a potential short was Mara. All right, now with Mara, the head and shoulder is there, right? And it behaved really, really well. As you can see, I made that video on Sunday and they had a massive gap down on Monday, right? It opened at exactly 1050, which I told y'all to watch for, right? And right now, it's just chilling underneath the neckline, which is a good sign. It's under the neckline. It's not like hovering over here and looking like it wants to break out. It's chilling in here. I think that it can go lower. The crypto market is bearish. This one also is looking bearish. And I think the next candle, it might be tomorrow or Thursday, that we see something that looks like that, where it opens up here and just drops all the way down to 950, either today or tomorrow. So again, it's still my thoughts and opinions on this one are not changing at all. Now, for the other stock that I told y'all to watch, which is very, very stubborn and kind of annoying. That whole sector in general is PDD. All right. Now with PDD, I told y'all to watch this one for a potential drop because of the neckline is sort of kind of failing, and also because of this breakdown right here. All right. Now after the breakdown, it's just chilling underneath 6750, which can be very annoying. And the most tricky part, the most difficult part is the patience part, right? And the most tricky part is when exactly are we gonna see another gap down, where we see something just where we see the stock just open below 64 and immediately fade to $60, like I told y'all. I think it would happen sooner rather than later. Right now, with the way it looks, at least from my perspective, the way I look at it, it looks exactly like Ford. All right. So this is Ford on the daily, as you can see right over here. So Ford, similar thing, it dropped and then it went sideways. Very annoying for literally 5 days. All right. It was just chopping and chopping, and eventually it had its breakthrough or breakdown for all the bears. All right. And the way it pretty much like showed that it was going to collapse, it was by showing this thing right here in the morning, a descending triangle on the 1 hour chart. It had bad news yesterday and it broke down right below 1450. And as soon as it broke down below 1413 at the open, like it was almost certain that this thing was going to go all the way down to 1325 either today or at least by that day, and that's exactly what happened. So this one played out to perfection. The structure was there, everything was there, and the stock completely dropped and filled the gap. Also, there is a gap that I was watching for on the left right here at around like 1330, as you can see. So what's going to happen next with this one? I think it's just going to chill here, and this outcome is what I see happening with PDD. There is going to be a fall happening on this one. The chart is there. It's bearish. I don't have a reason to be bullish on the chart. It's there. It's just a matter of when this thing is going to break down. All right. So that's my thoughts on what could happen with PDD along with the other stocks in this sector. And speaking of the other stocks in this sector, let's look at BABA. All right, because if I'm bearish on PDD, I'm also bearish on BABA, and this one had a day trading opportunity on the chart. If you look on the 5 minute, the structure was there, right? So it was there. I missed this one completely. Like this breakdown at noon, I didn't see that at all. And the reason why is because we were trading Nike instead. So this one breakdown at noon, but I found Nike at like 11:30 when this thing started breaking down, and the structure on Nike looked really, really, really good and too good for me to pass up. Actually, so here's the trade right here. So let's see, Nike. This is Nike, right? So I got in with puts as soon as this thing broke down at like 11:30, and the price target 101.5. All right, and I was just monitoring it. Eventually, it got there. And by the way, keep in mind, this is like around the same time that the SPY was also rolling over. So it kind of made this trade very, very simple, right? So it just kept dropping. And when it got really, really close to 101.50, it got to 101.71. And that was just the time to get rid of all of those puts on there, right? But in regards to Nike itself, I don't think that it's done yet. I think it has more downside. And the reason why is because of the 4 hour. As you can see, there is that base at the bottom. It broke down ferociously today, and I think that it may chop a little bit at this between 102 and 103 for like maybe a day, and then on Thursday it's going to continue lower. I don't have a reason to be bullish on Nike right now, at least not until earnings. Again, holding through earnings is 150% gambling, but before earnings happen, I think it could fall. I think it could fall. It's just a matter of how it's going to get down. All right, so definitely keep this one on your watches for the next few days. Now, let's talk about you guys' stocks of interest. Again, y'all always have some wonderful questions. The first one that we're going to address somebody asked about TELL. And with TELL, this one I missed it. Again, I missed it because it's a $4 stock. I don't usually look at $4 stocks. But the structure is there. As you can see, there is a bear flag on the chart. And another perspective to make it a little bit more simpler, if we just look at right here, like the play was there. It broke down below the level of support right here. It chopped a little bit, and then eventually things turned out really well for the shorts. So to the person who asked about it, I hope you had puts on there because you asked that question yesterday. All right. And if you do have puts on there and you made money on this entire move, I would say don't be greedy, because I think this is where it starts to chop and it starts to go, it just goes nowhere. It's gonna chill between 290 and 250 for like a week. I don't think it's going to do much, especially after such a massive move. All right. So that's my honest thoughts on TELL. Now the next one that we're going to look at, we gotta look at FCX. All right. And with FCX, this one is a steel company, and that base at the bottom is what you should be paying attention to. Eventually, it's going to break down. I don't know exactly what day. It's extremely difficult to tell you exactly when it's going to happen, because it could continue to just chop and play games out here. Like it could drop a little bit, bounce, and then drop again, and bounce, and then like so just be very, very patient for that massive red candle. Well, at least not too massive. Just something that starts below it and just breaches it gracefully, right? With some volume. Just watch for that. Eventually that's going to happen. If we look on the daily and we zoom out, there is a lot of room still, right? A lot of room. So watch it for a potential drop coming soon. Could be this week, it could be next week. So that's my honest thoughts on all of these stocks, and that is the end of the video. Again, do not forget to annihilate the like button for the YouTube algorithm. As always, it helps the channel a lot and it allows more people to get this knowledge as well. Also, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, definitely click on subscribe and click on the notification bell along with all notifications. That way you don't miss out on future uploads. If you'd like to be part of a private Discord community where you can get all of this information in real time as I see them, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. If you haven't added me on social media yet, you can find me at NGumah at PATTERNOLOGY LAB on Instagram and on Twitter. And lastly, if all of this is brand new to you, if you're interested in getting started in the stock market, there are some basic step-by-step directions in the description of the video below. Step 1 to Step 3. It only takes about 15 minutes or less for you to get set up with all the tools you need to start trading immediately. You can also get some free stocks for signing up with Webull using the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is NGumah with PATTERNOLOGY LAB, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see all of you in the next video.